What's up YouTube, this is Tube Digger. In this video I'm going to take a look at the Global Midi Learn and Project Midi Learn updates in MPC 2.2. So with Global Midi Learn and Project Midi Learn, we can now control the MPC software and hardware via an external MIDI controller. So first of all, I'm going to press Command, Shift and L on my Mac keyboard, and that brings up this new Global Midi Learn and Project Midi Learn window. So let's take a look at Global Midi Learn first. Up the top here, we've got the Learn button. We click that on and off to start learning our controls. We can enable and disable it with this button. And in this box here, that shows us the current MIDI map. We can select a factory MIDI map. At the moment, there's just the Akai LPD8 wireless in the factory MIDI maps there, but there should be a larger list of standard MIDI controllers that show up in there by the time 2.2 is released. And we can choose a factory MIDI mapping, which is the one that we're currently working with now. If we go over to the MIDI Learn menu here, we can drop that down. We can choose a new MIDI map. We can duplicate the current MIDI map, clear it, delete it. We can export a MIDI map, import a MIDI map, and refresh. Down below, we've got the type of controls to view in this view menu. So currently we're looking at transport controls. We can click that and go up to all, and we can view all the controls that we can control with our external controller. Or we can just select the different categories. So we've got pads, pad banks, cue links, transport, undo, redo, sequence parameters, step sequencer, pad panel, looper, modes, views, and panels. So let's go back to transport. Now I'm going to click Learn. I'm going to choose Play Start as my target, and I'm going to press the play button on my BeatStep Pro. And that's automatically mapped that now. Let's choose Stop. Press the stop button on my BeatStep Pro, and that's learnt that. Let's take it out of learn mode. Now this shows the MIDI channel, so that's transmitting on channel 1. The type is the type of controller, so it's registered it as ABS-CC, which is Arturia BeatStep CC, and the data is showing the CC number. So stop is CC51 and play start is CC80. So now we can see that we can play and stop the MPC with the BeatStep Pro. Okay, all good. Now, I'm not going to go too heavily into this because you get the idea of what this does now for global parameters, but let's just show you a really interesting one. Let's choose sequence parameters. Now, I'm going to choose to change my sequence with one of my rotary encoders on the BeatStep Pro. I'm going to click Learn. I'm going to move that encoder. That's now registered. Again, we've got it on channel 1, ABS-CC, and data is 3. So that's CC number 3 for this first knob. Now, this is what's really interesting about this. I've got 4 sequences in this project. Now I can switch between them with this knob. But what's really great about this is that it switches mid-sequence. So if you're halfway through sequence 1 and switch to sequence 2, it will keep its position in the sequencer. So you can chop between your sequences live. Now we can't automate this, but this is a great tool regardless for live playback. So I'll just demonstrate that. I'll play back the sequences first so you can hear how they differ. This is sequence 1. So just simple 2-bar sequence. This is sequence 2, and it's got a change up with the drums. So now I'm going to press play again, and I'm going to use this rotary encoder on the BeatStep Pro to flick between those sequences, and you'll see that you can chop between them now. And I'm going to go up to sequence 3. So that's a really excellent feature for live performance. changing up your sequences on the fly, and it keeps position within those sequences no matter what sequence you've changed to with your controller. That's a brief overview of what global does. One point to mention on this: global parameters are stored anytime you close down the software or your hardware and then open it back up again. They will instantly be recalled. Let's say you had one project with this MIDI mapping and you didn't want to use this global MIDI mapping for this particular project. You would just create a new MIDI map and use that. But whatever MIDI map you've got currently stored in here, these settings will be instantly recalled anytime you open the software or your hardware. So let's now look at project. So project MIDI learn will learn all your automatable parameters, like all your pad parameters, all your mixer controls, all your sends, all your effects, all your returns, anything that you can also control with your cue links that can be right automated. You can now do that with an external MIDI controller. So as you can see, we haven't got any control in here selected. We have to add it with this plus symbol. We can also do that from the MPC hardware. Press menu, MIDI control, and we've got this plus symbol here, and we can add additional slots there. So to be able to learn a parameter, for example, I'm going to go to Program Edit. I'm in Pad Bank B, and I'm going to choose Filter Cutoff for this pad sound. So all I have to do is click on Learn and move the parameter either on the hardware, and there you can see it's registered. The other way we can do it is move the control within the software. So there you go, that's populated that again. And then we just literally need to choose a physical control as well to map that to that destination. And there you go, I've chosen knob number 9 on my BeatStep Pro. So now we can control the filter cutoff of this pad. So I'm going to add this sound to my sequence and then automate the filter cutoff with knob number 9 on my BeatStep Pro. And of course you can see in the software we've also got the right automation in the filter cutoff automation lane. So obviously we can do this for tons of parameters. We can choose them in the same way that I showed you by actually selecting the control in the hardware or selecting it on the software. We can also do it manually from here. So we can go into this list. We can choose MIDI track parameters, audio track parameters. So to select what I just selected, we go to the actual program there, which is spot on. We go to pad. Then you can see all the pad banks and all the pads. So go to bank B and pad 13 where we've got that chime or drone sound. And then we go to this field here and we can select the actual parameter filter cutoff from there. I'm not going to do that because we've already got it up here. But that's how you do it manually, just from these two boxes here. So I'm going to delete these slots. I'm going to go to menu, MIDI control, and I'm going to use this bin symbol here and just delete all these. Now it's flicked to global because we haven't got any in project. Let's go back to project. Now if we click learn again and hold Alt on our computer keyboard, we can now touch any of the controls on our external controller and it will populate the list with all those controls. And you can see the data is different for all of these. Okay. So these are all my push buttons underneath the knobs on my BeatStep Pro. And now it's a simple matter of choosing any one of these, so they are highlighted in grey. And then you would literally go out of there. Let's go, for example, back to the program, click on learn again, and then choose filter cutoff again. Go down to the next one, choose a filter envelope. Go down to the next one, we can choose reverse. Go down to the next one, we can choose semitones. Okay, so on and so forth. So as long as you're in learn mode and you've populated the list with all the different controls, that's just a quick way of adding all the controls from your MIDI controller. But then of course you've got to go and select the actual target destination for all of those, either manually or by touching the control that you want to assign it to. And we can reverse the control here by clicking flip. Okay, that inverts the control. If we drop down this box, we've just got the option to clear all assignments, and it gives you the option to cancel or press OK. Press OK, then that gets rid of all these. If we'd have kept those and saved the project, it saves all these with the project. But as said, global MIDI maps will be recalled anytime you open up your projects, no matter what project you've opened up. And if you do want to switch them, then you literally just add one from the list, whether it's the user list or the factory list. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Please check out my MPC Live and MPCX tutorial playlist for other videos that are concerning the feature updates for MPC 2.2. Any comments or questions on this, please put them down below. Please like, share and subscribe. This is Tube Digger, and I'm out.